Now we're going to be taking a look at foreground, which is a setting down here that sets any layer above this value to appear above other game elements.
These layers start from 0, base 0, like 0 and 1 is fields. 0 is always collision, you can never change that, sorry. And we can add a new layer. Let's rename this first because it's not representative of it anymore. It's using the factory set, not the field set. So, foreground layers, any layer higher than this value you set will appear above the player and the entities. Let's set it at 2 right now, press enter, and then add another layer. Went ahead and created it off camera to show it off, but even though the entities appear above it in the editor, for convenience sake, when we test it, as you can see, bunnies appear behind it, the player appears behind it, and you can fall through it to your death. What if you want to hide it if you're at a certain point? Well, surprise, you can. If you go here, add in a new ID value, and go down here to this entity down here in the list near the bottom is the layer changer. Doesn't do anything without the ID value matching the trigger ID value. Layer index is 2, which is the one we want to change the visibility of. Let's try semi-transparent for now. And before we start, let's get some visible ground for the player to walk on.
Yay!
So we test that out. Now we go through solid section, turn semi-transparent. If you want to go back solid after passing it, you will need a new trigger. You will need a new ID value. Actually, let's put it there. Remember to press accept to apply changes to the selected entity. Get another one of these, change the ID value, change the layer index is already set, visibility change to 1 to make it visible again. And since we don't want to really go back all the way over there to test again and again and again, you can press the shortcut key of P to place the player wherever you're pointing. You can drag and drop the player if you're on tool 1, which is nice and neat, and you can press play and you will be right there. And it all works. If you want it to go back semi-transparent from this side, you can press the 2 key to select the entity editor, click on the entity you want to copy, paste the new one. Now, if you run this, it will only trigger once because triggers are by default set to be destroyed when collided upon, but you can change that. The type here, destroy on touch, is type 1. Its default type 0 is infinitely reusable. That's what we want. But we also want to set spawn area to 0 because it is not creating anything, and this setting will lag the game if you constantly collide with triggers. So if the trigger's not spawning anything, you might as well set that to 0. Now make sure the other one is also set to reusable. The one for exiting the piece of background. So you can enter it, it'll go fully solid. You can enter it, go solid, enter it, etc. That is a common use for reusable triggers.